Back in 2013, Honda launched the CB500X, and I think I must have seen it on the internet updates from one of the shows. I pretty much had my heart set on it since, saying, yeah, Honda India would bring the motorcycle down. Well, they eventually did, just that I was no longer living in India when that happened. So anywho, 2016 I moved to New Zealand. I went and test rode the CB500X then. Then come 2018 they released a new update. I went test rode that one. 2019 they had a new one, and I think I'd pretty much given hope on owning the 500X by then. I was probably looking at something, actually I don't know what I was looking for at that point of time. Anyway, come 2019, still looking for a motorcycle, and I happened to see this one on TradeMe with only 1,700 kilometers on it, brand new, and almost about I think $3,500 cheaper than the market rate. With no intention of buying it, went up, took a test ride, fell in love, bought it. And that was about a year ago. It's been smooth sailing since. I have no complaints with this motorcycle whatsoever. The only complaint I had was probably the stock tires that came with it initially. It turned out to be brilliant tires. Lasted me about 12,000 kilometers, and that's when I had to pick up a new set of tires. A lot of hunting, a lot of searching later, ended up with the Motor's Tractionator GPS 50/50 tires, hard compound in the center. I should easily get about 18,000 kilometers from this set. Skepticism when I picked up the tires, got them installed, felt a little dodgy initially. 5,000 kilometers, well, almost 5,000 kilometers later, I am stoked. These tires have been brilliant on the road, on the tarmac, pushing around corners at a Hyundai. No worries. In the wet they can get a little squirrely, but that's with pretty much any 50/50 or any adventure tire. You push them a little too hard and they will get squirrely, so that's probably the only time I really do need to slow down. Last couple of rides I've been riding with a bunch of wonderful people, winding roads, and what I'm so happy about is the way this little 500 twin keeps up on the twisties and uphill. Yeah, I mean those guys probably have 3 or 4 times the horsepower I do, and twice the amount of engine displacement as me, so they open throttle and disappear. But this thing's been keeping up. Probably have to keep it on the boil. Now, coming back to the grievances and the one grouch that I have with this motorcycle is the fact that power delivery is linear all the way. There's like no peak, so it's not the most exciting in terms of performance. I mean, it's good. I love the fact that even with linear, I keep the pot on the boil, and I have enough and more to keep me going. In the 6th gear, doing a Hyundai, need to overtake, don't really necessarily need to step down. Back the throttle a little more, and she manages to pull through. Extremely happy. I had to do a lot of fiddly little bits, windscreen to get sure that wind buffeting doesn't affect my head as much. Hand guards. I had to fiddle with handle position a bit so it wouldn't keep touching the windscreen. A little bit with electronics to wire stuff up that I wanted, like a phone charger, heated hand grips, power relay or a wiring relay harness that I've set up for auxiliary lights, wiring for a aux power that's not under my seat but pretty much just behind the rear pillion foot peg. So I can, it's got a SAE plug, so I can plug in, I don't know, if I go camping, an air inflator or air pump for the tires or light if I wanted to. It's taken me a year to get this motorcycle to where I want it to be. I think about 95% there. Took me a while to figure out compression setting. Yes, compression. That's just the only adjustment you have. The front and the back. Took me a while to figure it out. So it's great for one person, just me. Still got to figure out when you're two up, especially with the rear. Because I'm going to bumpy road or I hit a bump, it throws me off the seat, and I can imagine what it does to my pillion. That being said, it's pretty well set up for gravel, like decently well set up for gravel. Maybe a little bit of trail. And then when I talk to other people and the kind of trails they do, and I'm like, oh, I need a, well, smaller motorcycle. Smaller as in not so big and bulky, and with the possibility of getting, getting anchored in a rut. Something that's light enough to yank and pull out. My WR250R was absolutely the perfect motorcycle for that. Unfortunately for me, it had engine issues. Possibly wasn't well maintained before I picked it up, so I had clogged internal oil circulation lines. So that kind of seized up the big end bearing. Given a chance, I think I'd pick up one brand new the day I had the money. It's a tiny little perfect little machine, capable of cruising the motorways and the highways, capable of going off-road, capable of going and getting stuck in ruts and being pulled out. Eventually, someday. So this is, now we're just riding some basic hard pack gravel. It's the first time riding with these tires on, well, hard pack gravel. Not pushing it. It's pretty good. Quite happy with the way it is. Right, here we go. So far so good. But the first time I rode gravel over here, I was shitting bricks. I mean, this is not bad, it's not deep, so we're all good. Don't worry too much. Oh, no disappointment with the tire so far. It's also because I'm staying off the gravel, mainly.